Welcome, chosen ones. Today I'm about to share a powerful truth with you. A truth that could change everything you think you know about your strength and purpose. You are not alone. God is with you, and He has equipped you with an undeniable power that no darkness can overpower. Picture this one single light, one determined soul standing against the forces of darkness. It's not just any light. It's a light that refuses to be extinguished, no matter how hard the enemy tries. And when that light shines, empires built on deception, corruption, and chaos begin to crumble. The darkness has no choice but to retreat, because one person stepping into their divine power is unstoppable. You, chosen one, are that light. Now imagine this: a group of witches, manipulators and spellcasters, all with their dark magic, their schemes, their threats, believe they've cornered you. They think that because you're just one person, they can control you, intimidate you, and break you. But what if I told you that despite all their efforts, you didn't just survive, you completely shattered their operation without even breaking a sweat? I know life can feel like an uphill battle at times. The forces of darkness may come at you from every direction, trying to make you feel small, insignificant, and powerless. But listen to me now. God's plan for your life is far greater than any struggle you may face. He's already equipped you with everything you need to overcome and rise above. And trust me, they will never see it coming. You are stronger than you think, and the power inside of you is more than enough to turn the tide, to break every chain, and to bring down the walls of oppression that have held you back. The time has come for you to embrace that power and step into your destiny. If you're ready to witness how your light can shatter the darkness, make sure to like this video. Subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your story and see how you're walking in the power God has given you. Stay strong, stay focused, and remember, you're not alone. God is right there with you. Let's rise together. The witch's world, carefully crafted and maintained for centuries, is one of shadows and illusions, a system built on manipulation, secrecy, and fear. They thrive in the dark corners of the earth, where no one questions their motives or authority. Their power isn't derived from strength alone, but from their ability to control perception. Through secrecy, they keep their followers in the dark, feeding on the uncertainty and fear of the masses. It's a power based not on tangible force, but on the ability to control the unseen, to twist and bend reality to their will. They thrive in the chaos they create, and in that chaos, they are the unquestioned rulers, the architects of their dark kingdom. They've woven themselves into the fabric of society, hidden in plain sight, thriving in a world that turns a blind eye to their manipulations. But this is where everything begins to change. The mere existence of the chosen one. This one person starts to unravel their carefully crafted web. At first, they don't understand it. How could one individual standing alone challenge the very foundations of their control? But that's the thing about the chosen one. They do not fit into the witch's plans. They are not a mere cog in the machine that can be manipulated or coerced. Their presence alone becomes an undeniable force. They don't play by the witch's rules, and that is the root of their fear. The witches are used to seeing people bend to their will, to see them cower under the weight of their threats, to witness the power of intimidation work its magic. But the chosen one, they don't flinch, they don't retreat, they don't crumble under pressure. And that is precisely why the witch's carefully crafted world begins to fall apart. As the chosen one walks through the world with an unshakable confidence, they disturb the very energy around them. The witches had relied on fear and manipulation to keep the masses in check. But the chosen one's mere existence is a declaration of defiance. It disrupts the witch's system, creating a ripple effect that cannot be ignored. Where once there was silence and compliance, now there is resistance. Where once the witches could manipulate events from the shadows, now they are exposed. The truth of their weaknesses begins to surface. They are not as invincible as they thought, and this realization is terrifying for them. Because once the cracks in their facade begin to show, it's only a matter of time before the rest of the world sees them for what they truly are: false and fragile, built on lies and deceit. The witch's fear is not just a fear of losing power, it is the fear of being exposed for the fragile beings they truly are. They can no longer rely on their age-old tactics of intimidation. The chosen one is immune to their manipulation. They have no control over the chosen one's spirit, no sway over their mind, and no power to break them. And the witches can't understand why. For centuries, they have thrived by bending others to their will, by breaking them down, making them doubt themselves, and forcing them to rely on the witch's false guidance. But now, in the presence of the chosen one, everything they have built begins to disintegrate. Their spells fall flat. Their threats are ignored. Their dark rituals lose their grip, and it terrifies them. Because for the first time in their existence, they are facing something they cannot control, something they cannot break. The chosen one is a living testament to the truth they have spent centuries hiding. True power does not come from manipulation. It comes from alignment with a higher source, from a connection to something far greater than anything the witches can comprehend. The witches, in their desperation, continue to rely on their rituals, their incantations, and their dark energy. They weave spells and perform intricate ceremonies, believing that these are the keys to controlling the world around them. They trust in the power of their dark magic, convinced that by manipulating vibrations, bending energy, and conjuring chaos, they can shape the world to fit their desires. For a time, this worked. But now, they face a force. They cannot manipulate a force that is not bound by the same rules of the world they control. The chosen one's power is not rooted in spells, rituals, or ceremonies. It is not dependent on anything external. The chosen one is grounded in spiritual authority, in a connection to a higher power that cannot be touched or altered by the witch's magic. While the witches draw their strength from the manipulation of energy and fear, the chosen one's strength flows from within. It is the result of alignment with a higher source, a divine connection that cannot be broken or corrupted. This is where the witches fail. They can't understand how the chosen one's power works because it operates on a frequency they cannot reach. It is pure, unshakable, and untouchable by anything they can throw at it. This connection to a higher source is what sets the chosen one apart. It is what allows them to stand firm when the witches throw everything they have at them. No spell, no curse, no incantation can touch them. The witches may try to manipulate their fate, to twist the threads of their destiny, but it all backfires. The more they push, the more they fail. And it's not because the chosen one is stronger in a physical sense. It is because their power comes from a place the witches cannot reach. It comes from a divine alignment that is not dependent on manipulation or external forces. It simply is. And that is the true nature of spiritual authority. It doesn't need to shout or perform. It doesn't need to rely on theatrics or grand gestures. It is quiet, unyielding, and undeniable. The witches, on the other hand, are caught in their desperate attempts to break the chosen one. They cast their spells, they whisper their curses, and they perform their dark rituals, but nothing sticks. Nothing works. Why? Because the chosen one is aligned with a higher power, a force that they cannot comprehend, let alone challenge. The witch's magic is no match for the unshakable connection the chosen one holds with the divine, and that in the end is their undoing. Their power becomes meaningless in the face of true spiritual authority. The more they try, the more their spells lose their strength. The more they manipulate, the more irrelevant their magic becomes. And in the end, the chosen one stands victorious, not because of a battle fought on their terms, but because they are aligned with something far greater than anything the witches can ever hope to wield. Their failure is not just in the defeat of their magic. It is in the realization that true power does not come from control, manipulation, or fear. It comes from being aligned with a divine source, from walking in spiritual authority that cannot be touched or shaken by anything the world can throw at you. The witches spent their entire existence trying to control the world through dark rituals, but they never understood the true source of power. And that is why they lost. The Chosen One didn't just survive their attacks, they dismantled their entire operation simply by being aligned with the truth of who they are and who they are called to be. This, dear ones, is the real power, the power that comes from divine alignment. And no dark force, no matter how strong, can ever stand against it. The Chosen One's power is not born from the intricacies of elaborate rituals or the manipulation of unseen energies like the witch's magic. It does not rely on secrets or mysteries, nor does it require complex symbols or incantations to function. Instead, it is as pure and natural as the light that shines in the darkness. The simplicity of the Chosen One's power is not its weakness, it is its strength. The power of the Chosen One is grounded in something far deeper, something the witches cannot fathom or replicate. It is a natural energy that flows freely, unrestricted by the complicated webs of control the witches have spun. It operates on a higher frequency than the dark magic the witches rely on, a frequency that transcends the manipulations of fear and deceit. The witches have spent centuries weaving their dark magic into the fabric of the world, bending it to their will through rituals and curses, but their power is finite. It is rooted in illusion, and like all illusions, it can be shattered by something more real, more authentic. The light of the Chosen One is that reality, and it is this natural light that exposes the witch's power as fragile and hollow. What the witches don't understand is that true power does not come from the complexity of rituals and dark magic. It comes from alignment with a higher truth. The Chosen One's power is not manufactured. It is a force that simply is. It is the embodiment of purpose, the manifestation of a connection to something greater than the earthly realm. It is this connection that gives the Chosen One strength, not spells or symbols. And this is where the witches fail. They think they can overpower the Chosen One with their dark magic, but they are mistaken. Every attempt they make to cast their spells, to weave their incantations, fails. Their magic fizzles out, unable to even come close to touching the Chosen One. The reason is simple. Their magic is artificial, rooted in fear and control, while the Chosen One's power is organic, rooted in truth and light. The witches' spells lose their potency when they come into contact with something real, something that cannot be manipulated or controlled. The light of the Chosen One burns too brightly for their dark arts to withstand. The witches are left dumbfounded as they watch their magic fail. They cannot understand why their power does not work on the Chosen One. Their spells should have been enough to break anyone else. They should have cowered, should have bent to the weight of their curses. But the Chosen One does not flinch. They stand firm, unaffected, because their power is not something that can be stolen, twisted, or destroyed. It is their own, and it comes from a source that is untouchable by any dark magic. The witch's entire identity is built around their ability to manipulate and control others, but the Chosen One exposes the fragility of that identity. They show the witches that their power was always an illusion. It was never as strong as they believed it to be, never as invincible as they thought. The Chosen One's light shatters that illusion, and in doing so reveals the truth of their powerlessness. The witches' humiliation is inevitable because the very thing they have built their lives around, fear and manipulation, is exposed as weak, fragile, and irrelevant. The Chosen One doesn't need to fight to defeat them. Their mere existence, their natural light, is enough to render the witches' magic obsolete. The witches had always relied on complexity, on elaborate systems of control that they believed were unbreakable. But in the presence of the Chosen One, all of that crumbles. The simplicity of the chosen one's power is its greatest strength, and it is this simplicity that ultimately breaks the witches. It's a truth that they cannot deny. The light of the chosen one burns brighter than any spell, and in its presence, all darkness fades away. Their defeat is not in the battle fought. It is in the realization that their magic was never as strong as they thought. It was only powerful because it was unchallenged. Now, with the chosen ones standing firm in their natural light, the witches have nowhere to hide, and nothing left to cling to but the remnants of their crumbling power. The chosen one, simply by being, has shattered their illusions and exposed the weakness of their magic. The witches' greatest weapon has always been fear. They are masters of intimidation, using threats and manipulation to break those who stand against them. They thrive on control, and they believe that the key to that control lies in instilling fear in others. When they corner someone, when they apply enough pressure, they know that the victim will eventually bend. Fear is their currency, and for years, it has been their most effective tool. It has worked on countless others, people who trembled in the face of their dark power, people who cowered and submitted to the witch's will. But the chosen one is not like the others. The witches miscalculate this from the very beginning, thinking that their fear tactics will work just as they have in the past. But when they come for the chosen one, they hit an immovable wall. The chosen one doesn't flinch. They don't bend, and they certainly don't cower. While others would have been paralyzed by fear, the chosen one remains steadfast, unshaken, and unmoved. The witches try to escalate the pressure, throwing more threats, more intimidation, more mind games at the chosen one. But instead of breaking them, it is the witches who begin to unravel. The more they push, the more their own weaknesses begin to show. They realize that their power is built entirely on fear, and when that fear is refused, their control slips away. They cannot understand why the chosen one refuses to break, why their usual tactics don't work. The witches are used to seeing fear in the eyes of their enemies, to seeing people shrink back in submission. But when they face the chosen one, they encounter something they have never faced before: unyielding composure, unshakable resolve. What the witches fail to understand is that fear is not the foundation of true power. The chosen one's power is rooted in something far more enduring purpose. They are not afraid because they know their purpose is greater than any intimidation tactic the witches can use. They know that fear is just an illusion, a tool used to manipulate and control. The chosen one sees through that illusion, and because they do, the witch's power begins to lose its grip. Fear only works when you allow it to control you, but the chosen one refuses to be controlled. They stand firm in their faith, unwavering, no matter how hard the witches push. The more the witches try to intimidate, the more they reveal their own insecurity. They are not as powerful as they think they are, and that is their greatest weakness. As the witches continue to escalate their attacks, they find themselves growing desperate. They realize they can't break the chosen one. They can't manipulate them. They can't control them. This terrifies them because for the first time, they are facing someone who refuses to submit to their power. The witches are used to controlling everything around them: people, situations, outcomes. But the chosen one is not a pawn in their game. The chosen one is a force that cannot be moved, and that realization shatters the witches' confidence. Fear is their comfort zone, their primary weapon, but when it fails, they are left vulnerable. They are not as invincible as they thought. They are not the all-powerful beings they have always believed themselves to be. And that more than anything else is what terrifies them. The witches' fear tactics are nothing more than a facade, a mask they wear to hide their own insecurity. When the chosen one refuses to be intimidated, that mask falls away and the witches are left exposed. Their power built on fear and manipulation becomes irrelevant. The Chosen One's refusal to bend their unyielding composure strips away the witch's ability to control them. The witches scramble for new tactics, new ways to break the Chosen One, but it's too late. Their intimidation has backfired, and they know it. The Chosen One stands firm, unbroken, and in that strength, the witch's power crumbles. The true power of the Chosen One is not in their ability to fight back. It is in their refusal to be moved, their ability to remain calm and composed in the face of darkness. And that is a power the witches cannot understand. It is a power that will ultimately lead to their defeat. In the face of darkness, the Chosen One's power stands firm, unshaken, and unbreakable. While the witches and manipulators of this world draw their strength from the energy of others, feeding off the fear, the doubts, and the weaknesses of those around them, the Chosen One draws their power from within. It is not external or borrowed, and it cannot be siphoned away. It is a force that is inherent, born from their connection to something greater than themselves, something divine and something untouchable. The witches, whose magic thrives on the manipulation of others, are utterly confounded by this. They can't understand it, and they can't break it. They are accustomed to draining others, bending them to their will, pulling their energy until they are nothing more than hollow shells. But this doesn't work on the Chosen One. No matter how hard they try, no matter how many dark spells or rituals they cast, they cannot steal the power of the Chosen One. Their magic fizzles, their control slips, and they are left frustrated and powerless. The Chosen One's strength is rooted in something the witches have never encountered before. It's not about physical prowess or mastery of dark arts. It is a power born of purpose, divine alignment, and unwavering faith. The witch's magic is rooted in fear and manipulation, but the Chosen One's power is grounded in love, truth, and an unshakable connection to the divine source of all power. This connection cannot be severed. It cannot be manipulated. It cannot be controlled. And no matter how many times the witches attempt to break through, they are met with resistance. The Chosen One's power is not fragile. It does not bend under pressure or crumble under attack. It stands firm in the face of darkness, unyielding and immovable. Every attempt the witches make to infiltrate the Chosen One's mind or energy is met with impenetrable resistance. They try to plant seeds of doubt to twist the Chosen One's thoughts, to siphon away their strength. But each time their efforts are thwarted. It's as if they are trying to break into a fortress made of light, a fortress that cannot be penetrated by anything they do. The Chosen One is protected not by walls of stone, but by an unwavering faith and divine power that the witches cannot touch. This power comes from within. It is not something that can be manipulated or siphoned away, and it frustrates the witches to no end. They cannot understand how the Chosen One can stand so firm, so resolute in the face of everything they throw at them. The more they try to break them, the more they realize that their methods are futile. Their magic, their curses, their manipulations, all of it fails to even make a dent in the Chosen One's strength. The witches' frustration grows with every passing moment. They are used to being in control, to bending others to their will, to dominating and breaking those who stand against them. But the Chosen One is different. They cannot be controlled, and this drives the witches to desperation. They have no idea how to fight someone who doesn't fear them, who doesn't bend to their threats, and who cannot be manipulated by their dark magic. The witches are trapped in their own frustration, helpless to overcome a force that operates on a completely different frequency. Their entire identity is built around control and domination, yet they find themselves facing someone who embodies true power, the kind of power that comes from within, from a deep connection to the divine, and it terrifies them, because the witches know they can't steal this power, they can't manipulate it, they can't control it, and this realization marks the beginning of their defeat. In the end, the witches come to the painful realization that they cannot steal what they don't understand. The Chosen One's power is untouchable, a force that operates beyond the reach of their dark magic. The more they try to break the Chosen One, the more they see their own limitations. They cannot break someone who is grounded in divine truth and purpose. They cannot weaken someone whose strength is not reliant on external forces. And that is the ultimate humiliation for the witches. They have spent their entire existence believing that they were the ultimate power, that they could control and manipulate anyone and everyone. But the Chosen One shows them the truth that true power is not about control. It is not about domination. It is about alignment with a higher purpose, with a divine force that cannot be touched, twisted, or broken. And this realization is the final blow to the witches' pride and their grip on power. The Chosen One's victory is not one of physical might or forceful resistance. It is not a victory born of battle or confrontation. It is a victory rooted in alignment with a higher purpose, in unwavering faith, and in the divine power that flows through them. The Chosen One doesn't fight back in the ways the witches expected. They don't engage in the same tactics of manipulation or intimidation. They don't stoop to the witches' level. Instead, they stand firm in their truth, in their purpose, and in their divine connection. They don't need to prove anything. Their power is not about showing off or asserting dominance. It is about being aligned with the divine, and in that alignment they are unstoppable. The witches, on the other hand, rely on fear, manipulation, and chaos. They believe that power comes from controlling others, from bending them to their will. But the Chosen One exposes the truth that real power comes from within. It comes from being rooted in truth, in faith, and in divine purpose. As the witches' plans begin to unravel, they come face to face with the painful reality that their entire system of control was built on a fragile illusion. They had believed that they could control the world through fear and manipulation, but the Chosen One has shown them that those tactics are weak and ineffective. The witches, once so confident in their power, are left scrambling as their magic fades and their control slips away. The Chosen One didn't just survive their attacks, they transcended them. They didn't fight on the witches' terms. They stood firm in their own truth, and in doing so, they shattered the witches' illusion of invincibility. The Chosen One's victory is a reminder that true power does not come from manipulation or force. It comes from alignment with a higher purpose, from walking in faith, and from standing firm in one's truth. The witches believed they could bend anyone to their will, but they could not break the Chosen One. And in that, they were defeated not by a greater force, but by the power of divine alignment and unwavering faith. The victory of the Chosen One is not just a personal triumph, it is a victory for all who stand firm in their truth and refuse to be moved by the forces of darkness. It is a reminder that no matter how strong the opposition may seem, no matter how powerful the forces of fear and manipulation may be, the power of the Chosen One will always prevail. The Chosen One didn't just survive, they transcended. And that is the ultimate victory. True power lies not in controlling others, but in being aligned with the divine, in walking in faith, and in standing firm in the truth of who you are. The Chosen One's victory is a living testament to the fact that no matter what darkness may come, the light of truth and purpose will always overcome.